Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I know I sure did. Spent a lot of time in the garden. This is Captain Marty here. Got a lot to talk about today, and we'll get down to business in just a few seconds.
Red Drum Tackle in Buxton is the oldest complete tackle shop at Cape Hatteras. And being the closest tackle shop to Cape Point, Red Drum Tackle has been welcoming fishermen to Hatteras Island with a wide selection of bait and tackle, skilled custom rod builds, rod and reel repair, expert knowledge and information since 1974. Red Drum Tackle knows how, when, and where to fish. To acquire this fishing brain power, visit them online at reddrumtackle.com. Red Drum Tackle, the oldest complete tackle shop at Cape Hatteras and the closest to Cape Point in Buxton.
Join the crew of the Miss Oregon Inlet 2 for an Outer Banks fishing trip that's fun for the whole family. Located at the Oregon Inlet Fishing Center and running 3 trips a day, their spacious 60-foot headboat can accommodate up to 65 people. The Miss Oregon Inlet 2 crew can get you all rigged up to catch a variety of fish in the ocean and the Sound, but they're famously known as the Flounder Pounder. For more information on how you can hop aboard, go online to missoregoninlet.com. The Miss Oregon Inlet 2, an Outer Banks experience that's sure to create a lifetime of memories.
All right, so our podcast covers a lot of stuff. We usually talk about offshore fishing first. And down in Hatteras, kind of on the scrappy side, there were a few dolphin. And some of the boats did okay on some small blackfin tunas. There was a couple of wahoos, a couple of blue marlins. But when I see the catches of bottom fish, that's plan B. It's a great plan B. And man, those are some good eating fish too. But vermilion snapper and triggerfish, can't get much better than that for eating. So they did some of that to back up their catches. And then they had some boats back in the Sound around the inlet. They had speckled trout, bluefish, and red drum. The Oregon Inlet fleet picked out a pretty good day on tunas. Pretty good weekend, actually. But not hog killing type stuff for most boats. You had to work at it. You had to be a little bit lucky. But they had some tuna. They had some blue marlin. They had a few mahi in the catches. And all in all, it was pretty much what we left you with on Friday. Surf fishing has been okay. There's been a little bit of everything, including a few pompano, including a 5-pounder that I saw. That's a big pompano. I think that was Justin Stewart caught that from up at TW's. They have there's been some other things to be caught. I mentioned the sea mullet. There's some bluefish, and some of those are the big bluefish, the old school bluefish, so that's going on. And while we're talking about surf and pier fishing, something really cool happening on this Wednesday. It's the Fritz Boyden Memorial Youth Fishing Tournament. It takes place on all 4 of the piers north of Oregon Inlet. I'll forget them here, but I'm going to say the Outer Banks Pier, Jeanette's Pier, the Nags Head Pier, and the Avalon Pier. On any of those piers, you can, if you're a kid between the ages of 4 and up to 16, you can fish for free on the pier from 8 to 12. It's a 4-hour fishing tournament. And there's $1,500 in all kinds of prizes, including a lot of fishing tackle. And if you're interested in doing that, you can either stop by the pier, any of those piers today or tomorrow and get information, or you can go on Facebook and just look up Nags Head Youth Fishing Tournament, and you'll find out what you need to know about that. And if you don't have tackle, don't worry too much about that. The piers can rig you up one way or the other, so keep all that in mind. Also, while we're still talking about things going on in the ocean, we had Saturday had the 27th annual Kelly Wagner Ladies Tournament down, which kicks off the Big Rock Tournament. That starts today, the 66th annual Big Rock Tournament. But the Kelly Wagner had 267 boats, 1,500 lady anglers, $393,000 in prize money, and it was won by the Real Current with 2 blue marlins and 4 sailfish. So that was pretty cool. Second place was the Marlin Fever. Third place was the Real Click. A lot of good activity down there. I guess the side scanning sonars are going to bring those blue marlin counts up a little bit as we get into the Big Rock Tournament. That'll be going all week long. You fish 4 out of 6 days. And if you just go to thebigrock.com, you'll find everything you need to know. And you can listen live, just like we do in the Pirates Cove Tournament. You can listen to the captains, the hookups, the releases, all that stuff. So go to thebigrock.com if you want more information. Now I'm going to catch my breath. Take just a minute. I'll be back to tell you about the sound fishing.
Join the crew of the Miss Oregon Inlet 2 for an Outer Banks fishing trip that's fun for the whole family. Located at the Oregon Inlet Fishing Center and running 3 trips a day, their spacious 60-foot headboat can accommodate up to 65 people. The Miss Oregon Inlet 2 crew can get you all rigged up to catch a variety of fish in the ocean and the Sound, but they're famously known as the Flounder Pounder. For more information on how you can hop aboard, go online to MissOregonInlet.com. The Miss Oregon Inlet 2, an Outer Banks experience that's sure to create a lifetime of memories.
So, the speckled trout bite is on. The weather's getting hotter, but it doesn't seem to have affected the trout fishing. It's good. Everybody has their secret hole. I know. I'm not going to give away anybody's secret hole, but I can tell you that the fish seem to have moved east. They're pushing up against the backside of Hatteras Island. They're up around Roanoke Island, and maybe a few less fish around the western Pamlico, the Belhaven, Swan Quarter area. That's not to say you're not going to catch some, but the better bite right now, and that's typical for this time of year, seems to be a little bit more to the eastern. So you got that going on. There's also, I've been talking about it almost every day, a really good sheephead bite. A little bit of a art form. You got to be on some kind of structure, a piling, a pier, an oyster bed, a bridge. Piling does probably as good as anything. Keep this in mind. If you're going after a sheephead and you are around pilings of any kind, whether it be a dock or a bridge, I learned as a little boy, take a flat shovel with you and scrape the barnacles off of the piling before you start fishing. All that stuff goes down. It's just like free chum, and those sheephead love it. It's a great way to increase your bites. My dad, that was my job when I was a boy growing up on the old Clem the Fourth, and we get tied up to big bridges in Florida, and my job was to scrape the barnacles. So keep that in mind. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of opportunity for other things too, including bluefish, black drum, a few puppy drums still being caught. And actually I mentioned, or maybe I didn't mention in the earlier part of our report, down in Hatteras, they're still finding a few big red drum. So anyway, go out, go fishing. Really right now it's about as varied as it gets, meaning that there's a lot of different things biting. We mentioned from the cold water bottom fish, some of the best eating fish, snappers, groupers, triggerfish. Triggerfish, by the way, is my absolutely favorite fish to eat. There's the surface stuff, the tuna, the mahi, the blue marlins. There's a pretty good bite closer to shore with everything from Spanish mackerel and bluefish to, I haven't heard much on ribbon fish so far, but that's coming. And then you got back in the Sound, you have all that speckled trout fishing. So really, even if you didn't come to the Outer Banks with fishing in mind, let me just tell you, there's a lot of different ways you can do that, and now is the time to go. So I hope you do that. Have a great day, and thanks for stopping by.